So welcome to the first official mini training inside the Ideas Club. So as you will know, or you may not know, on a Monday we talk about goal setting. We talk about making a plan, strategy, vision, making it real, making it happen, moving out of our own way and doing the thing. And today is no different. I thought long and hard about where we begin on this journey together. And I wanted to start here because I realized that if we started here, all of the other hopes, dreams, goals, everything that you want to be, do, have, and feel, it's all going to be a lot easier. Because today we are talking, and all throughout this week, about cost and money. And really understanding all facets of that. Now, I'm not an accountant or I'm not a financial advisor, but when I say cost, I am talking about all areas, not just money, but your time, your energy, your focus, your stress, your energy, how you are conducting the blend of your life and business. And so each day this week, you will be learning about cost in the various areas that we discuss inside the Ideas Club. So today is all about goal setting. It's all about where you are making moves, where you want to go to next, and what is the cost of it all. So grab a piece of paper and a pen and let's get started. Number one. I want you to connect with the emotion of what it is that you want. So firstly, you may not know what you want, or you might need a little bit of time to reconnect with that part of yourself. And if that's you, take a moment, pause the video, and grab a piece of paper and a pen and put it into 4 columns. The first one be, the second one do, the third one have, and the fourth one feel. And without editing yourself, I want you to free flow write everything that comes to mind. So this might be have a holiday this summer. This might be have Fridays off. Or it might be a governor on my local school's board. It might be I want to feel on purpose every single day. I want to feel as though I have connected time with my kids every week. Whatever the thing might be, I want you to write it down. And I want you to write from that infinite, possible, exciting, opportunistic place. Don't write from that kind of small, constricted place. I really want you to go there. I really want you to open yourself up and go, do you know what? What is it I really want? And I always ask clients to do this because if we don't go from the ideal version, we're always going for like yeah, it's okay. And we all know when those moments have been when we haven't said what we want. And then we receive the thing that's given to us and it's like, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's fine. No, I should be just grateful for what I have. We don't want to stay in that feeling. I want you to really build something that feels amazing, that you just go, oh, yeah, that's what I want. That feels good. That feels like me. That's where I'm really connected. That. So I want you to look at your list and then I want you to refine it. And I want you to go into the specifics of what you absolutely mean. So if you, for example, put, I want to be more confident, or I want to be more connected with my kids, or whatever it might be, I want you to go into the detail. How will you know? And maybe it's a case of just planting yourself into that version of yourself. What do you see? What's the 360 version? What's going on here when you think in this way? So maybe being connected to your kids might be no telly, no screen time at all. Or maybe it's like you always sitting down on a Saturday night to have a movie night and you always have this kind of food and you do this and you dim the lights and whatever it might be. I want you to think about what your version is. How do you know when you've got there? What are you seeing? What are you experiencing? What are you feeling? How do you know that you've done it? almost as though when you go to a supermarket and you have a list of 5 foods that you need to buy, if you look inside your bag when you get home, you know if you've succeeded or not. If you've got the 5 things that you went in for, I mean, we know that you're going to come out with like 16 items. We know that. But that you know if you've succeeded. I've got the 5 things. Great. Job well done. This is how we want to really connect with our goals and build a relationship with them. So we are really clear whether we're doing it or whether we're not, whether we're on track or we're not, whether we're close or we're far away. So now that we know a little bit more about what it is that you want, I want you to go into the emotional cost of doing it and also not doing it. There is a real narrative at the moment of waiting. And we have experienced this over the last 5 years, especially in a really unpredictable, treacherous time all around the world. People have been very risk averse. People have been wondering what to do, what's a good move to make. They've been a little bit more hesitant, a little bit more cautious, and that sense of maybe there is a better time. Also, many of us are dealing with the voices inside our heads also. Our voices, our brains that want to keep us small. They want to keep us safe and cozy. And they essentially can be a bit of an overbearing parent towards us sometimes. Like, no, just stay here, stay close, don't do the thing, don't pass go, don't move forward. And we have to understand all of those relationships that we have within ourselves. It got to a point the other week, though, where I had to say to myself, I need an honest chat. And that honest chat really was a moment for me to stop, think about what I want, and to ask myself whether or not I was going to be able to do that. If I was going to be able to move out of my own way to make progress. I wanted to know why I was holding back, why I was making excuses, why I was telling myself it wasn't the right time. And sometimes in life, there are very logical, reasonable explanations as to why you shouldn't do that thing. I often liken it to that moment of a client inquiry I had years ago. And she said, I really want to get started. I want to build this business. I want to do X, Y, and Z. And I think she was 39 and a half weeks pregnant. And I remember saying to her, I would love to work with you. I'm so enthusiastic about your idea. I think it's really exciting. I think it's really innovative. However, please go and have your baby first. And it was her first baby. And I said, we can give it a couple of weeks. Like nothing's going to change. I mean, everything's going to change. But I just wanted her to go through that next moment of having the baby, because 39 weeks didn't necessarily feel that ethical of taking somebody's money, especially as they were going through this huge life stage. And so she paused and then she came back and then we did the work and it was fantastic and brilliant and I loved it. There are sometimes those moments where you are absolutely at capacity and there is nothing else that you can do. However, there are other times where you know that you could have the time, the space, the money to do the thing, but you're still not doing it because something in your head is holding you back. It's putting you into self-doubt mode. That is the loudest voice on the soundboard. And so sometimes we need to actively and consciously rearrange those sounds so we can listen to the sounds that are actually going to align with who we are, who we want to be, and where we're going next. And so one of the exercises that I did was to play this game of forks in the road. What happens if I move forward in this way and I build this? How will my life look differently in 2 years? How will it look differently in 5 years? How will it look differently in 10 years? And I also played the whole tape through of what would happen if I stayed exactly where I was. If I did nothing, if I questioned nothing, if I just kept plodding along. And this can be difficult sometimes because there's always pros and cons. There's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be things that we don't know how to do. However, you have to understand where you are actually trying to get to. And there are some things in my life where I would look at it and go, do you know what? I'm all right not doing that thing because that's not in accordance. That's not in line with my goals and where I want to be. And I'm okay with not doing that thing. I always say this about skiing. Skiing to me has never necessarily been something that I thought, gosh, I would love to do that. That sounds amazing to me. I think I'm just a bit scared of it. But equally, I've made my peace with it. I'm okay with that. I'm okay if I go through my whole life and I never step foot on a ski slope or I never drive a tractor. But there are some certain things on my vision board that if I don't show up for them, if I don't at least try or have a go, I know that I'm going to get to the end of my life and be really disappointed in myself and really give myself that telling off of like, you could have done that. Because already there have been things that I haven't done in my life or the things that I should have done at the time. And now as a 43-year-old, I'm like, you didn't do that because you didn't feel brave enough. I wish you could have found that courage within yourself. So I want you to play around with that emotional cost first and foremost. Number 2, you're going to hear me in these videos talking a lot about investing in yourself. And I do not play into the narrative that you will hear a lot of coaches and self-development people talking about. I don't believe that you have to go all in or give up your life savings or otherwise you're not serious. I don't play that game. I'm sure that we are meeting each other here where you have our responsibilities. I do. Maybe you have houses, maybe you have children, maybe you have dependents, maybe you have commitments, maybe you have certain things that you need to do every month just to make you feel like that grounded version of you. We're not going to pretend here that the only way to get from A to B is to completely flip our life around. And firstly, that's really important to consider because the people who can do that, you know, the people who are like, I'm just now going to work 18 hours a day on my business. Well, if you've got 2 children who need to go to school and need to be fed and cared for and looked after, if I suddenly was like, kids, it's been nice for the last 9 years, but, you know, I'm going to be working on my business 18 hours a day really now. And so I'm not really going to see you. I mean, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. So I want to get rid of that narrative and work with what we have. And so I want you to grab your pen and paper. And I want you to think about those moments where you made a change. You made an investment in yourself. And I want you to write down some examples of that for yourself. What did you gain? And what was going on? Maybe it was you signing up to therapy, for example, or joining a salsa class once a month. Or maybe you made a dietary choice. Or maybe you made a goal that every Friday morning you would take the first hour of the day for you. I want you to think about those changes that you have made in your life and really look at your own individual process. There is a phrase on the internet where people always say success leaves clues. And I do believe that. I do believe there's evidence out there that we can try on, that we can play around with. And the more podcasts, YouTube, all these things that are going on that are around, it's great. It's great inspiration. And we are now hearing stories that perhaps 10 years ago we wouldn't have heard. However, I don't want you to underestimate your own power within you. I know that sounds very self-development-y. But knowing what makes that shift for you, knowing what helps you move forward, knowing what that emotional connection is for you. You know, that inner voice that goes, go on, show them, whatever that line is for you. It's not to be knocked. It really isn't. Sometimes leaning on that fire within you is something that can move the needle. Number 3, I want you to really think about, what is your dream, or what are your dreams? And I want you to give yourself a timeline that is going to work for you, that will give you a space to focus and to be able to track. Now in 2023, November the 19th to be exact, I decided to start running every single day. And I decided to run for 15 minutes every single day. And I managed it for 250 days. And then I felt like I needed a break. But I took a pause after 250 days. And that date, it doesn't matter where my running goes from now on. I still run, I still keep it up in some shape or form. But that date was such a moment for me where I really committed to myself, or recommitted to myself. And my goal was to do it for 100 days. And I'm so glad that I exceeded that. But in the space of that 100 days, I got to know myself so well, and I tracked it every single day. I understood what was going on. I really learned when I was good, when I needed help, when I needed support, when it was tricky, when it was easy, when I suddenly found the purpose within it. And so I want you to think about this timeline for yourself. Maybe it's the next month. Maybe it's the next 3 months. Maybe it's between now and Christmas. I want you to really bookend it in that way. And so you can say to yourself, okay, this is not a time to be random. This is not a time to get to the end of the year and suddenly go, God, this year's gone quickly, hasn't it? I haven't really done anything. We're not having days and years and months and weeks like that anymore, because life is too precious and important. So I want you to give yourself this timeline so you can have a case study on yourself. Number 4, I want you to think about what the dreams are that you want to fully bring to fruition. So bring them into reality right now. Or certainly the dreams that you want to get on their way, get in motion, get moving and shaking. And I want you to ask yourself, what is this going to cost? Now, I've spoken a little bit about this, that not everything has to cost money. But I want to give you some ideas here. There might be something that you've wanted to do for ages. And it's just been floating around. You know, you haven't really considered how you're going to bring it to life. It's just on your list. It's on your wish list. I want you to go ahead and cost that thing. Equally, if you have a goal in one area of your life and you know what you need to be doing, but you're not doing it, it's time to ask some bigger questions. It's time to really draw that carrot to yourself so you move forward, and really building that relationship with your goal. Because it's so easy, especially when our brain wants to keep us safe and small. Your brain will go, it's all right, you don't have to do it today. You are quite tired, actually. Your brain will agree with you. If you're feeling any kind of insecurity, or maybe today's not the day, your brain's right there. It's like, it's all right, come and have a cuddle, come and sit down, come and do something else. I want you to think about what the cost is. And it might be, I'm going to have to get up early, aren't I? Or I'm going to have to get organised the night before so I can fit that in. Or I'm going to have to go and pay for some childcare so I can do the thing. I'm going to have to get used to planning my week in a better way so I can schedule things in a way that works for me. Whatever that might be, I want you to get into motion with it. And finally, what is going to move the needle for you? What's going to be a great investment? So when you're thinking about what it's going to cost, what you're going to do, how you're going to get things moving and shaking, there might be 30 little things that you can do. And great if you can start to incorporate those things. But I bet there are one or two that you know are really going to move the needle. But maybe there's some hesitation. Maybe you're thinking, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to be visible every single day. I don't want to increase my prices because what will people say? Or you might have all of these things going on. But I really want you to consider how you can support yourself to do the thing. And sometimes, for example, with pricing, it might be booking an Ask Me Anything session or a strategy session with me and practicing how to say your prices out loud. How to say your new prices out loud, how to conduct and hold that sales call without backing away, without thinking, well, I could always do this discount. We've all done it. We've all backed out at the last minute because it feels so scary to be that next version of yourself. What you will find inside the Ideas Club is a place for honesty. And with radical honesty, you will always get radical, exciting, expansive information. You will see it. I always talk about turning up the brightness. You remember at the end of a school disco, like everybody looked really moody and mysterious and fit, and then they'd suddenly turn the lights on and you're like, oh, we can see who we all really are now. This is what we have to do with our own progress, our own goals sometimes. We have to turn up the brightness and really see what's going on. There's a point where we can keep kidding ourselves or we can keep making excuses or saying, well, I haven't done that because of X, Y, and Z. And sometimes those reasons are valid. They are a big part of why we haven't done it. But sometimes they're just there to keep us safe, or they're familiar, or they're the most comfortable option. But now, my friend, it is time to make some mega moves, to do the thing and to really work out what it is that you want and to make it happen. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow where we are talking about the costs of your business, your pricing, your packaging, and also not just about the numbers, but your effort, working smarter, not harder, not feeling like you're hustling all the time, bringing ease and flow. So come back then. As always, join the conversation. I would love to hear what landed for you today, what you're thinking about, what's going on for you, and to help and support you as always. Lots of love. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.